Hello guys, it's Stacy. Wanted to pop on and talk to you for a hot second about gluten because I have been gluten-free, which is crazy to think, for almost 8 years. Here's the dealio. Want to know why I had to go gluten-free? Because let me tell you, it was a struggle. I did not want to do it, but I was pregnant with my son and I had the worst bloating during my pregnancy. I thought he weighed like 12 pounds inside my body. He came out like under 7 pounds. Was not baby, it was gluten bloat. And I was eating a chonga bagel from Starbucks almost daily because it was my one yummy treat that I wanted so bad. So my chiropractor that I was seeing and my midwife, when I was explaining to them my fatigue and my bloat and just how I felt achy in my body and my joints, they were like, it sounds, Stacey, like you should probably look into gluten. It could be bothering you. It sounds like symptoms from gluten. And I was like, no, like I didn't even want to hear him. So I don't know if where you're at in your health journey, but if you've been having thyroid issues or bad gut health or SIBO or something that where like the food is just not digesting well and you constantly feel bloated, you might be like me where you're like, la 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 la, like I love bagels. No, stop. Like I'm not giving up gluten. You're the devil for saying that. You know what I mean? So I had a really hard time, but finally after he was born, it was about 3 months after he was born, I took my daughter into the naturopath, and she and I were both, like I had eczema all over my hands. She had a lot of bloat and tummy aches, and my naturopath looked at us and said, both of you girls should be gluten-free. So finally, after the third person in the medical industry telling me that I should be gluten-free and looking at our symptoms that are visible, that's another thing I'll get into, is what are the visible signs of some of the ones that I know. I'm sure there's more. I was like, dang it. Okay, so I gave it up for like a week, and then I had my daughter's birthday party. And so I was taking her off of it. We were trying to eat a little cleaner, and we had Costco pizza. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And I had just started I started working out. I committed to like a 5-month, kind of like a kickboxing program because I knew I was done having kids. It was now or never. I needed to not have flat pancake mom butt, and I didn't want to sit on my butt, and I knew I was gonna lose it. If I didn't use it, I was gonna lose it. And I needed to get back into shape so that I could feel like the mom I wanted to feel like. And I knew that if I didn't start when my little guy was little, I'd be screwed basically. So, anywho, I had the pizza at the party. I was like, it's fine, I don't have a gluten issue, just complete denial. And it was that night, because the party was in the afternoon, so after everyone left, I had to get my workout done because I'd committed to this program calendar, and I was dead set determined to lose all the baby weight because I gained 45 pounds when I'm pregnant with each kid. It's fantastic. So I tried to work out, and I felt like I had the flu. My hands were achy when I would jump. It felt like there was a huge ball in my lower intestines, just aching in my belly. And I was like, okay, all right, I hear you, God, like gluten is bad for me. But then of course I tested it again because number one, I'm a slow learner, and number two, I like carbs. So my husband and I were ironically at Nordstrom shopping for swimsuits. And I was like, well, I'm kind of hungry. Let's go to the E-bar and get a coffee, and then maybe I'll get something to eat. So I get this little sandwich that has like a tomato and mayo and something else on it, like whatever. It was just like a veggie cheese sandwich on gluten bread. I eat it, and I kid you not, we're in the dressing room and I'm trying on these swimsuits, and my husband's like, what is happening to your stomach? Right before our very eyes, my stomach went from like normal to completely bloated. And that's what my daughter's stomach looked like. It looked distended, like the starving children, you know, like it stuck out, that look. And he was like, yikes, whoa, hey, ho. And I'm already in a dressing room, half naked, with my husband trying on swimsuits, which is already a recipe for disaster. So he's like, oh, your stomach, it doesn't look happy. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so ever since that day, because I was traumatized enough, I have not purposefully touched gluten. I have like had things in front of me that looked so good. And yes, I've not had a maple bar donut in almost 8 years. You can have a moment of silence for me. But I just was so done. Oh, thank you. My bestie's delivering a package. It's the UPS man or the Amazon Prime van, one of those two. So, short story longer, I just didn't want anything to do with it, and I still don't. I will not eat gluten. We really try to limit everything. I want to give you a little background on what I've kind of researched, how I maneuver my life being gluten-free, and what I do to make it not be so terrible. Yes, I still drool over maple bars when I take my kids to donuts, but I don't feel sad because I don't want to ever feel like I did, and that's the beauty of the art of refusal. And I kind of say that to my clients too. I'm like, if you refuse to go back to a place that you've been before, that's so powerful, and it's been very powerful in my life. So if you are thinking about giving up gluten, know that it's completely possible. You may have to learn the hard way like I did and like test your body and see how painful it is. Maybe you don't feel the pain like I do. Maybe you just have the outside issues, right? It's just different for everyone. So a study at Harvard, an article from Harvard, I looked it up online. Just to tell you what gluten is, it's a protein found in many grains. It also provides 0 essential nutrients. So if that makes you feel better, that's good. It damages the intestinal tract, causing inflammation, and it almost cuts it makes like little incisions in your intestinal wall, which can lead to leaky gut and other problems. So that being said, pathogens also like to feed off of sugar, dairy, gluten, and eggs. Those are like the top things that pathogens in our system likes to feed off of. So we want to limit. Eggs is kind of controversial. I mean, eggs can not bother someone and other people can be really allergic to them. Kind of just depends on each person. Everyone is so different when it comes to food and diets and all of that. But I do know from all the research I've done, I've listened to multiple books. I've listened to Grain Brain, I've listened to books on intermittent fasting, I've listened to books on healthy fats and liver rescue, celery juice in the medical medium world. I mean, I've seen all different spectrum, and everybody agrees on the fact that gluten and dairy are not good for us. So that being said, it's great to be aware, right? So I will tell you too, have you ever had or seen anyone that's had that keratosis pilaris? We call it like that bumpy chicken skin. I'm an esthetician by trade, so I know the skin issues it can cause, nutrition can cause, and it's not pretty. I used to struggle with it. So if you or anyone you know has that, that is a sign that they are gluten intolerant. And you will have weight gain, you will have distended belly, constipation, IBS, seasonal allergies, hives. All of these things can be your body telling you that what you're putting in it is bothering it. It could be dairy, it could be gluten. Those are the worst two things. There's a lot of other bad things, but those are the two that we in the Western culture, that's what we get a lot of. So I wanted to tell you quickly, I'm gonna run you through these too because I looked them up. The big 8 allergens, just so you know, because I dealt with cystic acne my entire life. I've been on 2 rounds of Accutane, scarring, low self-confidence, all through high school, middle school. It was just bad because I was not drinking enough water, I was not eating right, and too much sugar, too much of all of it. So your skin wants to tell you, it's like a map, it's clues telling you what's not working. So that being said, where was I going with that? I don't know. But that being said, I feel so much better. And these, I was gonna tell you guys about the big 8. Okay, so milk, these are the top 8 allergens: milk, eggs, fish, shellfish, tree nuts, peanuts, and tree nuts are like cashews, wheat, and soy. So those are the top 8 that most people are allergic to. So here is how I have navigated being gluten-free and not hating my life. And I have to tell you, I do not feel deprived at all, not one bit. unless I'm in front of a maple bar. Or, I mean, really, that's it. Or, you know, I want to eat the crust on a cheesecake or something like that. I don't feel sad about it because I feel so much better. So I plan my food. And I tell all my clients in our private online health and fitness groups, I'm like, you have to leave the house with at least one meal because you don't know how long you're gonna be gone for. So I do that automatically because I can't just like stop. Where am I gonna stop and get food when there's gluten in so many things? So I always have one meal with me. It's usually my superfood meal. I make a shake out of it, or I take like one of our gluten-free bars with me, or I pack my salad or like a big bag of blueberries or whatever, my apple and my almond butter. I've always got something. So that helps a lot, not only with weight loss and tracking your food, but also with being gluten-free. Next is, did you know that you can make a pizza out of not only cauliflower, because cauliflower is awesome, but egg whites. So the other day, I poured egg whites into a pan and I waited till the top wasn't sticky anymore, and I put a little pizza sauce, a little mozzarella, and some dried basil, and it was so good. So you can make an egg white pizza. You can make a pizza out of a lot of different things. There's a ton of packaged foods, great noodles, there's quinoa noodles, black bean noodles, so many great things. Like millet is a really good gluten-free grain as well. Or I don't know if millet's I think millet is a seed. Quinoa is a seed, it's not a grain. Quinoa's great, but just really I avoid packaged foods. Freezer meals have a lot of gluten in them. Sushi, unfortunately, I can't do because some of the seaweed has soy sauce in it. And if the restaurant doesn't have the tamari, which is the gluten-free version of soy sauce, then I'm screwed and I'm not gonna eat sushi without soy sauce. I wrap things in lettuce, so that's really awesome. I get dressings on the side and I make sure that I taste them and make sure they taste okay to me. Sometimes, a lot of dressings don't have gluten in them though. Rice and corn, of course, are great substitutes for gluten. Veggie burgers, though, you have to be careful of because a lot of the times they have gluten, and like it's literally like the second ingredient. So when you're reading, like I read ingredients like a boss. I just double check everything. So just be careful with like seasonings, sauces, and veggie burgers. Those are like really main ones. And then also, I was eating a lot of gluten-free bread, which is fine. My kids eat it, but I was kind of bloated when I was just eating a lot of like packaged gluten-free things just because I wanted the carby feel and I wanted to feel like I was eating like everyone else. And since I cut those out, my bloating has gone way down. So be super careful. Pick your evils wisely when you are eating gluten-free things because it's still crap carbs, a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like empty carbs are never gonna serve you. Now, if you're gonna eat something like the siete chips, those are made out of cassava and they are the bomb. The nacho and the sea salt, they're so good. There's even a fuego, which is hot. So look for siete chips, look for non-GMO foods, all of that. But I just wanna encourage you, you can do it. If you wanna go gluten-free, if you want to figure out what the heck is going on with your health and why you're feeling so crappy, ditch the gluten. I swear to you, you will be more vibrant and your eyes will be lighter and your skin and your hair, like everything's gonna feel better because it is weighing you down and you know in your gut if it is. I knew in my gut, I just was trying to like la, but don't do it anymore. Try it, give it a week, try something with gluten in it, see how you feel, give it 2 weeks. Ideally, I would go 2 weeks with no gluten, then reintroduce it, see how you feel, see if your heart rate goes up, do a pulse test where you can see like, okay, my heart rate was this before, now I ate the gluten, and if my heart rate is elevated at all, it means your body is having a reaction to what you ate. So I encourage you, have the very best night and then reach out with any questions. I'm here to help, I'm here to walk you through it, hold your hand. I know it sucks, but I promise you, you will never look back if you start to feel better. All right, I'll talk to you soon.